You're listening to the Teach Better Talk podcast featuring expert educators eager to share progressive tactics to reach more students. Teach Better Talk is created by teachers and fueled by passion. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 258 of Teach Better Talk podcast. My name is Ray Hewart. I am here with Jeff Gargas, and we have a great episode in store for all of you. Before we get into all that, can I just ask you, Jeff, how's life? How you doing? I like your sweatshirt. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can give us some likes for that awesome sweatshirt he's got on. Just saying.
It's so weird to me how hard it is to point at things. I'm looking instead of just like I don't know how to point at my chest.
Yeah, this is the best intro starting ever. That
anyway,
Jeff's
this is on teachbetterswag.com. It's the piped fleece pullover. It's a full zip, and it feels like it's got pockets like a hoodie, but without the hood. It's kind of cool.
I would like to start a petition.
And underneath, Ray, I've got my
Aspire.
First coffee, then I lead. Aspire lead. Shout out to Joshua Stamper.
I want to start a petition that every time we put up new swag, Ray gets a free swag item. Because here's the problem. We put up swag like it's our job because Joshua Stamper is killing it in our swag development.
It is part of our job.
I know, but then I can't spend a bunch of money every month buying swag. And every time I talk to you, I'm like, oh, is that a new sweatshirt, Jeff? Can you get me one?
I wish I had the answer, and if I did have the answer, I'd probably tell you it's because Josh likes me better, but I don't have the answer. So
you just always look great in your swag, Jeff. That's all I'm saying. That's really the moral.
I can neither confirm or deny that Josh likes me better, except that I know he does, but
yeah, guys, I won't lie. Usually I would fight and be like, no, this person likes me. Josh, I'm okay taking the second slot.
Everyone else on the team might like you better, but I'm pretty sure I got Josh.
Why is that? Why is Josh so, wrong? What's his problem?
He's just my dude, Just one of those things. I don't know.
He's a good guy.
Just one of those things. It's one of those things about life that just don't make sense.
Josh, I love you dearly if you're listening to this episode, even though I don't think you listen to Teach Better Talk podcast. But if you do, I want you to know I will take second.
Oh, it's going to be interesting.
I will take
Josh, if you listen to this episode, please ping Ray with 4 green hearts.
Ooh, challenge accepted.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out. And if you are listening to this podcast, and I want you to wait about 4 to 5 days after this podcast comes out, and then I want you to DM Joshua Stamper. He is at Joshua double underscore Stamper, and ask him if he pinged Ray with 4 green hearts. Ooh. But don't tell him why you're asking, because that would be really fun for him to be confused if he doesn't do it. So that's creepy. A lot of instructions, but I hope you will follow them. Anyway.
Oh my God, guys.
Speaking of instructions, we should give people instructions to do something that allows them to potentially win stuff.
Like the April giveaway?
Like the April giveaway. That's exactly, boy, you and I, we're just right here.
We're so connected.
Same page here.
Well, this
I love it.
Episode comes out on the 8th. Is that true?
Sure, we'll call it the 8th.
So, guys, This is our last day for the giveaway. So if you're listening to these instructions,
really right
this is the last day of the giveaway.
Hurry up.
All right, here's the deal. Dun, dun, dun. You already knows this.
I love your dun, dun, duns, because I think they're meant to be exciting, but they're dun, dun, dun is the killer was around the corner. Dun, dun, dun. You're but it's you go up, so it's still kind of celebratory. It's very confusing for me.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
My audio sensors are all over the place.
Here's the point.
I don't know what's real anymore.
Here's the point, guys. It's the last day, and I want to make sure that even though you didn't write down or pay attention to any instructions Jeff just gave you, I have real stuff, and it will not take long. It's super duper stinking easy. So here's the plan. What I need you guys to do is go do these steps to win the April giveaway. Our social media team does a giveaway every single month. We're in the month of April. And this month, the winning loot, what is that called?
The prize?
The prize. Yeah, the winning loot.
The winning loot?
The prize.
The booty is...
What? Is a video shout out from any member of the team of your choice. and a $10 Amazon gift card. Yeah.
Where does the shout out go? Like just like out on the social media from the team, out that way?
It goes to them and their school. We can also put it on social media depending on who wins.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And they get a $10 Amazon gift card.
Yeah, so it's a personalized shout out video from a member of the team and a $10 Amazon gift card. And
so even if you don't care about the shout out, you can get like a whole bunch of markers or I don't know, a new tie.
Jeff, if you had $10 for Amazon, you'd be buying markers? I'm confused.
Yes, because we have had several markers get ruined here at the Gargas household.
It's a struggle.
That's legit what I would buy.
I get it.
I actually have some in my shopping cart right now.
All right, friends.
Moving on.
Here's how you win. You need to make sure you're following the Teach Better team on Instagram at Teach Better Team. Then you're going to repost our giveaway post to your profile in your story. So just share the post to your story. Make sure you tag us and comment boom on the photo to be entered to win. So those are 3 steps. We are sharing all these details out like crazy. So even if you don't want to write these 3 steps down, just head to our Instagram page or follow us on any social media and you'll see all the details. There's 3 steps and I hope you win.
I'm pretty sure the post they have to share has the instructions on it too.
It does,
right?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
I mean, that's super easy. I love it. That's great. All right, so let's talk about this episode. So it's super fun having Debbie on. Debbie has been connected with us for a long time. She's an ambassador. She's a founding ambassador. She's now a mentor ambassador. She's a good friend. She writes with us, and she's about to be an author, so it's super fun talking about her book, diving into what that means to her. She's an elementary school technology specialist. I think I got that right. And I love just how she's always looking to empower people. When I talk about that a little bit in the episode, she dives into so much about it. And Ray, I don't know what else you got. She connects Teach Better and the podcast in all kinds of different places too, which is always fun.
Yeah, I think one of the best takeaways from everything she shared, and by the way, guys, there's so many nuggets in here, so make sure you listen to the entire thing. But one of the pieces I really like is how connected she is. She has chosen to find free opportunities to challenge her thinking. And that's what I love about the Teach Better team. We are constantly doing free professional development or getting groups together for free. And we don't need to charge you. We just want you to carry that Teach Better mindset. And so Debbie, in addition to the Teach Better team, has found so many different opportunities to do that. And I think that she shared it beautifully. I hope that we all carry a Debbie mindset.
I think you hit that perfectly, Ray, because you used the word choose. And you talk about that in the podcast too, when she lays out all these different ways that you can learn to grow. I think that's awesome. So with that, let's get into episode 258 with Debbie Tannenbaum.
Hey guys, it's Ray. We'll be right back to this episode, but I want to give a huge shout out to the 31 brand new Teach Better ambassadors that we are welcoming to the Teach Better family. You know, it's really interesting. Early February, we opened up this application process. At the end of March, we were able to welcome in 31 brand new ambassadors. And it is such a joy to continue to expand our family. Remember, applications will open again later this year. So if you weren't selected during this first round, no stress. We are constantly trying to offer so many opportunities for you guys to get involved in the Teach Better family. And the ambassador program is one of the many ways that you can continue to stay connected. We hope that you have a wonderful day, but a special shout out to our ambassadors. Keep doing the great work. All right, let's get back to this episode.
All right, we are here and we are chatting with Debbie Tannenbaum. Debbie, so excited to have you on the podcast. You and I have been able to connect a bunch recently. You're doing a lot of work on your website and you got a book coming out and you're speaking more, you're doing all kinds of cool stuff. So we've gotten to hang out on Clubhouse and meet up a bunch of time on Zoom and stuff. So it's super exciting now to have you on the podcast too. And now getting to share or help share your story with more people. So I'm super excited about that. But before we dive too far into stuff, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty good. We just got back from break, so I had a little bit of time to kind of refresh, though my husband doesn't think I really refresh because I'm always on the go. But I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Oh, Debbie, I'm so excited that you're on the podcast. I feel like we've been connected forever, but I don't know that I know a lot about your full story. So I'm really eager to hear the answers to the questions that we normally ask on Teach Better Talk podcast. But before we get into all that fun, I kind of want to ask you that age-old question of, hey, Debbie, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
So there's lots of different ways that I can describe what I do. I am an elementary school tech coach. I blog. I am now speaking. I am going to be an author I guess I am an author. I'm a mom and a wife. And so I'm pretty much busy all the time. But in most of those roles, with the exception of the mom and the wife, I'm just really working to help educators use technology in transformative ways to help their students achieve. So that's really my passion.
So Debbie, let's just talk about that passion for a minute and kind of go into story mode right away here. You have a book coming out. I think we're about a month out, give or take, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about the book? It's coming out with our good friends over at Road to Awesome. And you've been working on it for a while. It's done now. You're kind of just in the queue, ready to be published and shared out with the world. So can you kind of share us the process that sort of, where did the book come about? How'd you get connected with Darren and the team over there? And how's that process been for you?
It's kind of crazy because I met Darren on December 24th of last year, which it's not even 4 months ago. But I had started working on the book in January 2020. I was dared in a Twitter chat to try something that I wanted to do by Jay Billy, and I went ahead and did it. And it was kind of cool that he wrote an endorsement recently for my book. But I started just writing little bits at a time. I had been blogging for almost a year at the time when I started writing, and some of the blog posts came in as part of it. But I really just wanted to tell my story. One of the things that's really struck me over the last year or so is that everyone has a story to tell and nobody else has that same story. And as I blogged, I gained more confidence in my story. And so Transform is actually an acronym. It goes in 3 parts. The first part talks about getting your feet wet, and it shares my getting feet wet stories in a lot of ways. It talks about how when I first started teaching, things weren't always that great. I was teaching behind closed doors and how I kind of transitioned away from teaching behind those doors. It talks about how I found technology and how it activated my students in ways I couldn't imagine. And then it really talks about the ideas of how can we revisit technology's role in education. And then it talks about ways that we can activate learning with using technology. I'm a huge proponent of Project Zero's thinking routines. And so I really feel like they give students a great way to create a visual representation of thinking. And so the first part kind of gives you a way of kind of understanding these are the tech tools, here's some ways to create. And then the second part is the next steps. It really talks about empowerment. It talks about empowering your students. I'm a very big proponent of icon literacy. I teach my elementary school students how to use technology by understanding icons. And I really try to empower them with using video and language that shows me I know the answers are within them versus I have to give them the answers. And so the book talks about that, and then it switches over to talk about educator empowerment. Like many people in the Teach Better PLN, I discovered Twitter in 2017, which is kind of crazy. I had my master's in technology in 2002, but it took me 15 years to discover Twitter. And when I discovered it, I met connections that I could have never possibly imagined. And so the book talks about seeking those connections outside of your school and how those connections can really help you to grow as an educator. It really talks about finding your PLN. I joke that the Teach Better team has been such a pivotal part of my PLN, but it's something that started very slowly. I think I first started by doing Mastery Chat with you guys. And then I started listening to your podcast when Caitlin Giordano was interviewed. And then I started blogging with you. And then, I became an ambassador, and now I'm part of your mastermind group. So it talks about all of those things that can help you to grow your PLN. And then the last part of the book really talks about taking your transformation to the next level. It talks about offering your voice. In the last 2.5 years, I've really, I blogged, I've been speaking. I have my first keynote coming up next week, which is super exciting. And I learned that I could offer my voice in ways that I didn't think I could growing up or even 5 years ago. And it talks about reaching beyond your expectations. And then it kind of concludes talking about how we can maximize learning. We've learned so many amazing lessons through the last year plus. And I've learned more through virtual means than I ever would have learned if I had been able to attend conferences. I got 4 kids. So the likelihood I could go to all those conferences might not have been as possible, but I've been able to present all over the country virtually. I've been able to learn with things like the 12-hour live, which both of those changed my life. And so when I met Darren on the 24th and I sent him my draft, he was like, this is really good. I want to publish this. And he just believed in me in a way that inspired me. And I wasn't finished writing at that point, but I finished writing within a month after meeting him. He just was so inspiring.
Can I just preface, Debbie, when you said 12-hour live changed your life, Jeff, she didn't mean your dumb idea for the Teach Better 12-hour live. She meant like what it ended up turning into, which was thanks to so many incredible educators that shared their voice. Jeff's goofy 12-hour idea he can't get full credit for that, Debbie. There's no way.
But I got a lot of really great books out of it.
She did. She won a bunch. What I heard from all of that was that actually, like, Caitlin Giordano was responsible for all this. Did anybody else catch that? That's what I caught.
Okay, Caitlin Giordano has changed all of our lives. So Debbie, get in line. I don't know what to tell you.
So that, and also what I actually caught also, Debbie, is how much you use the word empower. I've noticed that when we talk, not on a podcast too, that you're constantly talking about empowering, whether you're talking about your students or the teachers that you're trying to work with stuff too. And I just love that about you, that you're always on this mission to try and empower. And I believe that is part of what Darren saw when he started talking to you and getting to know you as well, and why he believes in you the way he does. It's the same reason I do. It's because you just feel that from you. So I appreciate that about you.
Can I just preface, Debbie, like, I want to go back and listen to all that you've shared again, because you listed so many different opportunities, whether it be related to the Teach Better team or just with other incredible educators, that you chose to take advantage of. I love that you continue to elevate all the things you're doing by choosing to connect and get involved in outlets that are going to challenge you. There were so many examples in that, like, description you just gave. It's so incredible.
Absolutely. And last year, my one word for the year was challenge. So that was basically my goal last year, was to challenge myself to do things that I didn't think were previously possible. And when I look back at all that I did accomplish in 2020, it's really astounding. And so this year, my one word is transformation, which happens to be part of the title of my book. Totally coincidental.
I love it. I love it. Well, I do have to say, and I know, Jeff, you have more questions that you want to share with Debbie, but for everybody listening right now, take a screenshot, share that you are listening to this episode so we can continue to bring this story to other educators. And most of the things that Debbie listed are free opportunities that you as an educator can take advantage of tomorrow with no money down. Like, there isn't any part of that. So there's so many ways to get involved and challenge yourself. So Debbie, outstanding.
We usually wait till later on in the episode to do this, but Debbie, I'm going to do it right now. Like, you're being super awesome, and I'm going to give away a copy of your book. It's basically like you're giving away a pre-order here because the book's not even out yet. So you can win right now, win a copy of Debbie's book before it even comes out. I think Ray just gave us the reason for that. Take a screenshot right now, share it up, make sure you tag us, hashtag Teach Better, tag Debbie. And I'd love for you to share with that screenshot how you're going to challenge yourself to take advantage of one, if not all of the things that Debbie went through and laid out on how she's grown her PLN and grown herself and empowered herself and empowered others. Is that fair, Debbie? Can we do that?
Absolutely. That sounds great.
Good. See, boom, checked it off. Now there's no this awkward later on where Jeff tries to figure out how we give away a book. Cool. Good.
Sounds good.
I also want to know, I love to know, you gave a lot of credit to Twitter, and I always love to kind of remind everyone that's actually how Ray and I met as well. So Twitter's got some serious power here on the Teach Better Talk podcast. So, all right, let's keep story time going here. Debbie, this time we're going to talk about, one of my favorite questions on here. You know this because you listen, and that's when we talk about failures and how we overcome those and what we learn from those. So can you share with us a time that you faced a failure that you've had to overcome? Take us there with you. What happened? How did you overcome that? And what did you take away from that experience?
Well, like most of us, I have a list of things that I failed and I've learned from. But a couple of years ago, I switched to a smaller school district that was closer to my home. And I had been in a bigger school district for over 15 years. And I kind of thought all school districts were the same. I know that's a little naive, but it wasn't a good match. I loved working with the students, but after having taught in one system for so long and just going on autopilot to do things the way I thought they should be done, I struggled to fit with what they expected of me there. It was really, really hard. It was a struggle all year long. And at the end of the year, I had to, admit it wasn't a good fit for me. And I ended up, resigning in that school district to find a better fit. And that was really hard because, I really loved the kids, but I knew that it wasn't the right place for me. And it really just taught me so much about what I value from a district and what I was looking for, because I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't had that experience. I'd only ever been one place, and that's all I knew. And as a result, I ended up applying at my current district, and that following year is when I discovered Twitter. And I don't know if I would have discovered Twitter if that experience hadn't have happened.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely understand that feeling. I was doing some reflection earlier this month on the reason I got on Twitter. And actually during a mastery chat, the person that forced me to get on Twitter was mentioned in the conversation. And there was a little bit of a moment, Debbie, similar to what you just shared. We were like, oh my gosh, if I was not in that situation with those people at that moment in time, would I have ever gotten on Twitter? And if I did ever later on, would I have ever connected to the Teach Better team? Was Jeff ever going to be in my circle where, we became friends? So that reflection of kind of being in the right spot at the right time is really powerful.
And I was just really lucky. The principal I had when I started in my school district, she was very into Twitter. She had everyone create, and I thought it was silly at first.
Yeah, right? Me too.
I was like, only politicians are on Twitter. And within that first year, I went from just being a teacher to applying to be a school-based technology specialist or an EdTech coach. And then I ended up working for her mentor. She was a new principal. So it's like, I'm a huge Lindsay Titus fan as well. And it's amazing when you connect those dots backwards, what ends up happening.
Absolutely. I will give a sneak peek to our listeners that we always joke, like, get on social media. But some people even make a profile and then they don't know what to do. Okay, Ray, we made an account, but now what? And just a sneak peek to our listeners, if you're listening this much into the episode, you can have a little bit of a spoiler. Just keep a little secret for us that we have a course coming out at the Academy in about a week that is about how you can shape your profile and who you're connecting with and kind of those next steps. So Debbie, I think your insight is so wonderful of being able to emphasize the power of making a choice to kind of put yourself out there and connect. So it's really
absolutely exciting. And there, one of the sections of my book also gives hints about how to, get started with that as well. So,
oh man, I love it. See, meant to be, girl. I love it. So when it comes to all the things you're doing, and I know this is a silly question with how much conversation we've had, but with everything that you're doing, can you tell us a little bit about what's fueling your fire, keeping you excited about the work you're doing and everything that you're involved in education?
I'm really excited about professional learning and the opportunities we have right now. I cannot get over in the last year the ways that we've given educators to learn. I feel like a couple of years ago, it was really cost prohibitive to grow as an educator. And for most of us, the education we can get within our school systems doesn't tend to really meet our passions. Sometimes it does, but in general, sometimes it doesn't. And being able to participate in conferences around the country, being able to participate in things like your 12-hour live, or be able to I did Teachers on Fire Roundtable. There's all these amazing live streams and events that you can attend, some for free, some cost money, but it's changed so much. It has just made things so much more accessible. And I hope even when COVID is no longer an issue, that we're still going to continue some of those options. And we're going to make sure that no matter where you live, that you have access to learn and grow and be that lifelong learner. I just feel like that's so important. And I joke that I have a little spreadsheet where all the conferences I'm looking at and the ones I want to go to, but there's so many opportunities out there. You have to organize it. And then also I'm super excited about my book coming out because that's a dream I never thought was going to happen. And I kind of just went for it and now it's going to happen.
There you go. Dream come true. I love it. So in question 5, we always focus on one piece of advice, and it's a piece of advice that you would give teachers to really, really consider as they're continuously learning a ton in this episode. Oh my gosh, I've loved all your insight. What would be your one piece of advice you'd like teachers to leave with?
I'm sure you're not surprised that I'm going to say you don't have to teach behind a closed door. You should join Twitter, join Instagram, join some sort of social media and connect with other educators. And if you're anti-Twitter, even Facebook has amazing groups now. You don't have to do this alone anymore. And if you are, you're making your job so much harder and you're maybe reaching not even close to what your potential would be.
That is fantastic advice. I just think about Chad, Chad talks about this all the time about not teaching in closed doors and opening up and what that did for him. So I love that advice. I just love how much we're talking about the connection piece and what that's done for you and the excitement. You were talking about the idea of being able to keep some of these aspects of like the virtual learning and the opportunities it's raised. I actually literally had a conversation this morning with an event that's happening, the Chad happens to be going to, and they're actually in an area where they support all schools that actually have been face-to-face for the majority of the year, and they used to do all in-person conferences, and then with 2020, they were forced to do virtual, and actually all the districts that they support voted for and pushed them to just always do it virtual from here on out because of the ability to just how that people could attend it. It was more easy to go to. They could do more things. So there's these little pieces that we can pull from there to enhance things and have hybrid. I think we're going to see some hybrid conferences and stuff like that. We have one this summer that we're doing that's hybrid and stuff. So there's some really cool stuff there. I love that you pulled that out as well. So Debbie, I'm loving it. Let's keep it going here. We're going to do the next 6 questions. I'm throwing them at you. Your goal is 15 seconds or less. I know you listen to the podcast, so this is probably going to be super easy for you. Except for the first one, I think might be tough just because you're a tech person, so yeah, it's always a different one. Well, here we go. Ready? You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What is one EdTech tool you cannot live without?
Google Slides.
Oh, she got that one. She got it quick. Give us a book you're reading right now.
Right now, I'm reading Thrive Through the 5 by Jill Sisler, and I just finished The One Thing by Gary Keller.
Who do you need to follow on Twitter, Instagram today? And I know it's hard. We got to keep to just 3.
Okay. So the first person is Lindsay Titus. She's amazing, and she's really helped me grow. The second is Road to Awesome, my publisher. And then the third is Taylor Armstrong, my Teaching Better mentee.
Yeah, Ambassador Mentee. Shout out to Taylor, brand new ambassador. And he's your mentee, huh?
I'm so
because we launched the Teach Better Ambassador Mentors inside there. Love that. Shout out to Taylor.
I love that new program. The fact that our ambassadors are not only Teach Better Ambassadors with all the perks that come with that, but now that there's an official mentor program, I'm so stoked for that. We haven't really talked about that on the podcast, but so glad you shouted that out, Debbie.
What's a good YouTube channel, website, or podcast for educators to check out?
So the website is the Project Zero Thinking Routines. It has a toolbox that has just so many amazing resources. It's something many educators don't know about. And when I speak about thinking routines, I talk about it. And then there's so many podcasts I love, including this one. But one of my favorites is the Edge of Duct Tape podcast by Jake Miller.
Oh, I love Jake Miller. He's a good friend. Give us a daily, weekly, or monthly routine every teacher should get into.
Daily, read and reflect every day. Weekly, kind of reflect on your overall gratitude. And then monthly, reflect on your goals and set a plan for the next month.
And what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I'm going to make your day with this one. The best piece of advice is in episode 186. I actually looked it up. Jen Manley said, if you don't apply, the answer's always no. And that has kind of been my motto lately.
Oh
boy, I love
God.
how you brought that around to episode 186. Jen Manley. Shout out to Jen. That was a good episode. I remember that episode.
She's great to connect with on social, by the way. If you guys aren't connected to Jen, she's a great one to connect with her. She's awesome.
So absolutely.
Debbie, I have loved how much just tips and tricks and insight you shared in this episode. I know that I knew it was going to be good, and I always love consuming the information that you put out, but there was just so many great suggestions here that I hope all of our listeners take advantage of. And because each and every one of them are going to be making some sort of social media profile because they have now officially learned the impact of connecting with people, I want to make sure that they also connect with you. So would you mind sharing how our listeners can stay connected? Everything from like website, your Twitter handle, where you are on Instagram, and of course, the book coming out soon.
Absolutely. So the easiest place to find me, I'm on Twitter at Tannenbaum Tech pretty much almost every day, if not more than once a day. I'm also Tannenbaum Tech on Instagram, but I have to admit I'm still working on my Instagram game. And I'm also on Clubhouse, LinkedIn, etc. as Tannenbaum Tech, Facebook as Debbie L. Tannenbaum, and then my website, Tannenbaum Tech, is something I am really working hard on and adding lots of content to. And then my book, Transform Techy Notes to Make Learning Sticky, will be out hopefully next month. That's the goal.
Oh, love it. It's exciting. Congrats again. It's super exciting. We're going to be celebrating so hard here at Teach Better Family. So that's good stuff. And you can find all the links, all the resources, and everything we mentioned in this episode over at teachbetter.com, as well as the really important links for connect with Debbie and keep this conversation going with her. So head over to teachbetter.com for all of that. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And if you can give us a rating and review, we'd really appreciate that as well. And let's keep taking this one step further. Think of just 3 of your colleagues who need to hear these amazing stories and just share this podcast with them. Debbie, so much fun. I love connecting with you. I love how often we get to connect. I love that you're an ambassador. Now you're a mentor ambassador. Super excited about your book. Just really, really appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
And until next time, let's get out there. Let's teach better.